Everyone for joining and welcome to Let's Talk ACA. This is our ninth edition where ACA meets real talk. Today, I have a special guest joining, Zonta Turner. Thanks for joining us, Zonta.
Thanks for having me, Kathy. So excited to be here. I'm trying to pull up my Let's Talk deck, and I know we're going to introduce her in just a moment, but we've got another guest as well that we're super excited to have on here.
Wow, it looks like we have a ladies lineup today from JSA.
I think so. I think so. So
We
thank you.
do miss Alex. He's on the road doing his thing. So well-deserved holiday. And we've got a special edition for you today.
Well, thank you for being patient with me, Kathy. I'm not used to this, all this good, fun stuff. I know this is a little new wave, new tech, and I'm a little more of a senior than I want to admit. So thanks for having me and thanks for your patience.
Well, let's talk. What do we got going today?
So let's talk. Thank you again for the intro. The topics today, as you know, are we're going to talk about our special guests. We have some here. Talk a little bit about Medicarians, some updates that you're going to hear about, and then kind of what's next.
Well, let's dive into it.
Love it.
So, Medicarians, as I've known it and from the past, I think it's been pretty popular the past couple of years. And Medicarians, the title says Medicare. So, tell us why this is now changing and evolving into something for all agents.
So, what I'll share from my perspective, you know, I got to attend last year. I got to attend this year, and of course, both years I went in as a ACA under 65 for JSA, and I will share with you both years really, really kind of proved to be all inclusive, meaning it wasn't just about Medicare. And I'm sure Shang might talk about this a little bit too. And we haven't had the opportunity to introduce her, but she's on camera. So feel free to jump in here. We do have an official introduction for you. So be ready because we've got a little slide that's really cute. And we're really excited to share. But I will say, just from an overall perspective, it isn't just about Medicare. Like for me, it was just as much under 65 ACA focused last year and this year. And then what was really nice, kind of what the buzz was about being diversified, right? Diversifying your portfolio of options of what you were going to offer agents. You know, I saw just as many ACA carriers from a booth perspective as I did Medicare. So that was really, really nice. And I saw that last year too. And what was probably really cool for me was I went last year, but the year before they had 2,000. Last year they had 4,000. This year I heard a couple of different rumblings, but it was 5,500 to 6,000. So it looks like it's increasing. What was probably really, really cool for me too was agents last year where I felt a little bit like me, where I was like, what is this? What is this? And this year, they seemed a little more in tune with what it was really about. There were a lot of information that was kind of launched that week that was really cool. Some of it being ACA. We're going to talk about it today. And then just a really cool launching pad for some other of our business partners like Retire Flow. Retire Flow had actually had a 2-day or a whole day event about a week prior. But what they shared that was really exciting that pertains to us is that Health Sherpa is now going to be able to be loaded to Retire Flow.
Well, that's a big thing.
It's a
That's
huge
that's
thing.
huge. That's huge. Great.
Yep. And then agent feedback was really cool because I got to talk to a lot of agents, and I feel like it's going to be probably even bigger next year. But probably the biggest, funnest, most exciting part for me was our booth. Like we had one last year and we had the relaxation station. This year, our booth was, I think, even better location wise. I tried to put as many pictures as I could up so you could see, but it was, launch into space with us. And from the giveaways that we had, I cannot speak enough about how amazing marketing did. Thank you. Thank you. You guys did an excellent job. And I think we were so well represented and our booth was awesome. Like we got a lot of compliments on what we were giving away, but also what our booth looked like. So
That speaks to our agents as well, knowing what a dynamic team we have for marketing and showing the artwork and creativity that we can do for any agent, right? Not only our own booth to represent JSA.
I don't think we promote our marketing team really enough. And what's really cool and kind of leads us into this, but our marketing team is growing and our marketing team's really hip and really cool and really awesome. So we'll go ahead and maybe go into the next slide. But our special guest today, I know I'm a special guest because it's normally Alex. So sorry he's not here and I'm taking his place for the moment. But our special guest is Shang, and she's gonna have some information that she's sharing with us, give us some awesome updates.
Yeah, put in chat who you think that might be a little fun we can have.
Are we gonna give away a door prize maybe for it if
Well,
they
we
get it
can
right?
do yeah, we can do that, we sure can. So, first one to name who's who. Number 1 is the first person, number 2 is the second person, of course, number 3 is the third person. Put in chat who you think that might be. And welcome to JSA, Shane, and welcome to Let's Talk
Mhm.
AC.
Yes, thank you, ladies. Well, thank you, ladies, first of all, for the lovely shout out and for inviting me to ACA Talks. I'm super excited to be here. This is my, I guess, my christening for our webinars or really doing anything with JSA. I've only been here for about 2 months, so I still got that brand new smell to me. But as the ladies mentioned, my name is Shang. I'm JSA's Director of Marketing Strategy. I'm based out of Green Bay. I have over 15 years in marketing, advertising, communications experience, and I actually began my career as an entrepreneur. After my undergrad, a friend of mine and I started our own social media marketing agency. And this was right around the time when Facebook was really becoming popular for business use. And so we began helping small businesses in our community launch and maintain their social media presence. And that we found was a great foot in the door approach to then earn more marketing work from these clients. And eventually our small social media startup grew into a fully integrated marketing and advertising agency. Before landing at JSA, I worked in public health and healthcare, providing communications, crisis management, business development support. And today, for JSA, I help largely with our brand direction. I manage marketing requests that come through. And I also help to provide marketing strategy, not only for JSA, but also for our agents and agencies. And a huge part of my role that I take very seriously is staying on top of industry trends as the landscape changes not only in our insurance world, but also in the marketing world.
Okay,
As
what do you not do?
with marketing, it's always multiple slashes in my title, right? And I'm sure a lot of people can relate being, business owners and entrepreneurs as well. You wear multiple hats. But yeah, so as I mentioned, I have a team, or the ladies mentioned. Jackie Dawson is our creative director. Lizzie is our digital media specialist. And then our newest team member, Charity, is a general marketing specialist. So these are the folks that are currently part of my marketing team. However, as the ladies mentioned, our team is growing and we are looking to grow our capabilities in order to bring more value again to our partners. A large part of Jackie's role, I think a lot of people might be familiar with Jackie. She's been with JSA the longest, is managing and marketing the pieces that you might find in our pro shop. And if you don't know what the pro shop is, I'll give you an intro into that shortly. So, with that, if you're already partnered with JSA and you need marketing support, please reach out to the reps in your region. I have them listed here. We have Western, Southern, Central, and Eastern regions. And then, of course, if you have ACA specific needs, you can reach out to our fantastic ACA team here. Our sales reps are going to be the best first point of contact with marketing, just because they're going to know all of the marketing resources and be able to point you to the correct or the most appropriate one. One of those being the Pro Shop. So, if you're not familiar, what is the JSA Pro Shop? Well, it's really your one-stop marketing hub where you can find templates for flyers, social graphics, postcards, and more. And then you can take those pieces and really customize them with your information and your branding before either downloading it for use or ordering prints. There are ACA specific pieces as well as Medicare and ancillary products, tons of categories on there. The best part though is that all of our pieces on the Pro Shop are compliant. However, with the caveat, if you do use a design and you make edits to it outside of the Pro Shop system, we would encourage you just to send that back through our compliance department if you have any concerns about that. And to do that, you simply just email compliance@jsaonline.com and someone from our team will get back to you. So let's dive into a quick ProShop demo and intro. So again, if you're already partnered with us, you should have an ARC account. ARC stands for our Agent Resource Center. And from here, you'll land on your dashboard and the JSA ProShop Plus is one of the first icons that you'll see. And then from here, you can click Access the ProShop Plus. But I do want to also point out the Vista Print Corporate Store. This is a little bit different from our Pro Shop in that it essentially allows you to purchase Vista Print products at discounted prices, which is a great value add again for our partners. And if this is your first time logging into the Pro Shop, if you scroll down on this page, you'll see sort of a quick start guide. This is what we're going to go over now. All right. So once you're in the Pro Shop, and I just want to preface this with what I see might look a little bit different for you all because I am an admin. So just keep that in mind. But the very first thing you want to do if this is your first time logging into the Pro Shop is to set up your account. So you want to go and click on your name on the bottom left corner and go to account settings. And then from here, the two areas you want to update are under smart fields. And this just has all of your contact information and also your marketing information, like your website if you have one. Once that's set up and saved, you want to go then to smart images where you can upload your profile image or your headshot. These images are and can be used in ProShop templates. And then you can also upload your logos here. I am not an insurance agent. I don't own an agency, but this is a made up logo that I created for this purpose to really help immerse you guys into the experience. All right. So once your account is set up, you can go back to your main page. And then this is where you're ready to start exploring some of the templates that we have. You can click into templates. And then on the left side here, again, is where you'll see all the different categories and sort by either product line, audience. We've got some things in here that are like specifically to veterans, but for this purpose, we'll go ahead and check ACA. And this is, I believe, already sorted by newest to oldest. So all of our newest pieces are always going to be default to the top. Currently, for our ACA specific pieces, as you can see, we've got postcards, we've got social graphics, we've got flyers, and we also have this after the sale worksheet. If cross-selling is something that is a regular part of your conversations, your business, this is a really great way to identify maybe some other products that your clients would be interested in. You'll also notice that in the Pro Shop, there are some pieces that have been translated to Spanish. I do want to say that my goal is to eventually provide every piece in the Pro Shop in multiple languages, not only Spanish, but also Mandarin. Again, this month being AAPI month, Asian American Pacific Islander month, that's just top of mind for me. But just knowing that, the makeup of what makes up our country is just so diverse, I really want to make sure that those communities that are typically underserved have a little bit more resources on their side. So in addition to seeing additional languages being updated in the Pro Shop, we'll begin to also, include more pieces regularly and always open to feedback as well. This effort to include multiple language really came from agents like you. So if you have feedback, please share them with the ACA team, again, with the sales reps in your regions. We would love to know what marketing can do to really bring value to you and help you in your own businesses.
Shane, I'd like to point out the piece that we recently had created I think you're right on it. It says Medicaid ending. And if you guys are paying attention to what's going on, we have a lot of Medicaid families and individuals that are losing that. And so that's a great way to get a mailer out or a flyer or put it in
Mhm.
a laundry shop or something like that to let them know that you can help if they lose their benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, from here in the templates, you can click on any design to start customizing it. So we'll just go ahead and click this Medicaid ending flyer. It'll load a bit, but I'll just go ahead and say use template. You can name it whatever you'd like, create document. And then as this project is creating, it will be automatically saved to your My Projects folders. So know that that's kind of where you can go to see all of the projects and all the marketing pieces that you started working on. So once you're in this screen to start editing, you can start to click around and see which things you can edit and which things are pretty much locked down. Again, because these pieces are compliant and have been through the compliance process, a lot of this information is intentional and also approved. So we wouldn't encourage you changing it. And again, if you do change it outside of this environment, just please make sure that you send it through compliance again. Just double, triple check. You can never be too safe. But yeah, you'll see that the areas that have the red lock are immovable and can't be edited. And then there will be some areas that have a yellow lock to it. These are areas that you can edit. So you can click in and update this call to action text if you wanted to. But then earlier, when we filled out those smart fields, that's where the information gets pulled in directly into these templates. So again, just trying to make it the easiest, most efficient way for all agents to be able to create their own marketing. So you see my contact information has pulled in. If I were an agent, which I'm not, I could go in and put my license number. And if the state that you're in requires form numbers in your marketing pieces as well, that's where you would add it. And then to change or add your photo and your logo, these areas you could delete. But if you wanted to use it, you simply double click and then that'll open up sort of this images tab on the left here and you can select from your images. So this, our graphic designer, our creative director, Jackie, recommends you put your headshot here. So I'll just go ahead and click my photo. And then same thing over here for my logo. I'll just go ahead and click that. And it's as simple as that, just a couple of clicks, and then you've got a fully designed and written piece of marketing. So once you're happy with your design, you can either download it, and save it as a PDF, print it from your office, or you can order prints. So if you'd like to order prints in bulk, if you have printing that's 50 or more in quantity, you can go ahead and do order prints. And then on this page, you just select the size that's available to you. In this case, it's just standard 8.5 by 11. And then you click begin order. So once this loads, it'll generate a PDF, which you can then open in your browser and view. And it gives you just a chance to proof everything and make sure that the information is correct and everything, is in its right place. If the proof looks good to you, you simply click add to cart. And then what this is going to do is it's going to open a new window or a new tab to a separate environment called Express Docs. So this was something that kind of tripped me up a little bit when I first started. But when we talk about the Pro Shop, we're really talking about kind of two different tools or environments. So as you can see, we started out in this program called Mark, which is where you do all the designing. And then to actually order the prints, we're in a program or a software called Express Docs. So you can see that up here too at the URL. Just so as you're communicating with the team and you're communicating with the marketing department, we kind of know where we can support you the best. So from here, you simply just enter your quantity and other details before you proceed to checkout. And then checkout is where you would enter your shipping information, your payment information. But I also want to point out this little credit area too. In the past, JSA has awarded agents with printing credits. So this is where you would apply that if you ever do get that. You just do that and then you can see the discount is applied. But yeah, that's pretty much the process from start to finish. I feel like I did go through that very quickly, but if you guys have any questions, as always, you can reach out to your sales reps, to your different teams, and they will get you the answers.
Will you do me a quick favor since you're already in there? Will you
Sure.
go back to ARC and go to the Green 365 folder? So, was going to announce this later. Probably will announce it again because I'm so excited. But if you haven't ever gone to our Green 365 folder, it's something that's been there. But what's really, really exciting is it now also has all of our under 65 ACA. So there's a 4-part series. If you'll scroll down just a little, we had all the carriers come on and do a 2026 kind of benefit rollout for us. All that's there. The Health Sherpa 101 is here. It's really exciting. And the Let's Talk sessions, which we're currently on, are on here too. So if you ever just want to go back and you're like, oh my gosh, they talked about something that I don't remember, I want to hear it again, or you just want to hear us again, you know, You can go here. I mean, what's really cool too, if you've never been there, is we also have the DSNP specific kind of focus. So 4-part series as well breaks down kind of geo mapping. You get to hear community with Kat. You get to hear Kathy twice. You get to hear me twice, but we just break down a lot of it, and it gives a really nice breakdown of what each session is. So don't hesitate to come out.
Awesome.
Yeah, all of these sessions will be recorded and sent out after the podcast. Shane, that was a great review on everything. Guys, are you using the Pro Shop? Because a lot of times you join a FMO and you're just not aware of the things that are available. And we want you to know that we are there. It's at your fingertips. Why do you want to use the Pro Shop versus a carrier? Because you don't have to brand it. You're a broker, right? So you don't have to put the carrier name on it. You can be very vague about it because you sell all products.
Yeah, I think you actually talk a lot about branding yourself. And I think that's a great way to brand yourself as that community resource, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Kathy, someone's asking, what does Green
Yeah.
365 mean?
Great question. Green 365 means get ready, engage, enroll now, 365 days a year. And a lot of our you under 65 products fit perfectly into that because it's something we can do year round.
Yes. Awesome job, Kathy. Love it. Are you talking about social media? Because I
I
want to hear about this.
I am talking about social media as well. And we also have another How to Grow Your Business webinar on social media marketing coming up on May 19th, which I will plug again at the end of this because Lizzie on my team is going to be sharing some different information. But what I'm going to cover today is just some very high level, just understanding that, there are people who have been in the business for 2 years, there are people who have been in the business for 20 years. So maybe social media is something that you're already on, but if you're not, here's some reasons why you should be. I mean, first of all, there are 6.2 billion adults on the planet, and 5.2 billion of them are on social media. So, as you know, there are many, many social media platforms that you can choose from. But for the one that I would recommend that we've seen the most value is really Facebook or Meta, because already Facebook's audience already skews towards adults 45 and older. Starting with Facebook or Meta, again, or really any social media platform, you can post for $0 a day. It doesn't cost anything to create your own social media presence and begin posting and reaching people in your networks. And then if you do decide that you want to get into advertising on Meta specifically, you could spend as little as $1 a day if you're just looking to get impressions, meaning just people to see your ad or to see your brand come up, or as little as $5 a day. And that's if you're looking to get interactions such as clicks. However, a more practical minimum would be something like $10 to $20 a day, because I always like to encourage people to think of advertising and marketing as investing. Your ROI will only be as large as your initial investment. Next point, because of human nature, people are more likely to buy from someone they know. I think we all know that. And having a social media presence really is what gives people a chance to start to get to know you before that initial call to set up a meeting, or before that initial call even. Uh, and because SCPs happen all year, agents who remain consistently active remain top of mind year round. When those special cases do show up, then you can be talking about it and meeting people where they are. Social media, I think, is a great referral engine. We all know that people are quick to write reviews when they have a negative experience, right? So when they do have a positive one, or when you do have people who are singing your praises, ask them to share that on social. Ask them to tag you. Ask them to leave a review either on Facebook or Google, because again, all of these things add up to really beef up your online presence and makes it easier for people to find you, get to know you quickly, and then eventually book that appointment with you or make that call. And lastly, being on social media just helps you meet your clients where they are. Our last How to Grow Your Business webinar this past Tuesday was on grassroots marketing. And our VP of sales for our Eastern region, Henry, talked a bit about how you can market yourself at community centers and community events and kind of be where the people are. So I want people to think about social media as the digital version of that, right? It's the digital community space where people gather. So some tips for you if you're not already on social media, or if you are and you just want to, improve your social media game. First, post consistently. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be multiple times a day, but at least 3 times a week really helps build that trust. So when people come to your page and they see past posts, they see that you're active, you're engaged. And it also helps with the algorithm. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later too. Number two, people hate being sold to. I think we all know that. So educate, provide value, and position yourself as that subject matter expert. So again, when people do need someone and they go out searching and either you're recommended or they find you organically, there's all of that kind of evidence to back up how much you know. Number three, show your face. I always like to say with social media posts and marketing, and when we're talking about visuals and imagery, eyes attract eyes. And this helps people get to know you again because people are more likely to do business with those they know. This is a great way to introduce yourself to people digitally. And you can show your face not only in photos, but stories and reels. I think, again, we're seeing this shift in people's attention spans is starting to decline. So realistically, you have, 30 to 60 seconds to share your message. So you want to make these videos short, punchy, and again, helpful. So people continue to come to you as a resource and the content that you're putting out there is valuable. Next, engage. So being on social media isn't just about like posting and broadcasting to the world. You really also want to be active yourself and engaging yourself. And that's because, I mean, one, the algorithm rewards activity, but also too, when people can see that activity and that visibility, it builds that trust. And then lastly, keep yourself relevant again by posting about and educating followers on those SEP opportunities like job changes. So for me, I'm a bit ashamed to admit this, but during my job transition to JSA, I thought I was going to be stuck paying Cobra, right? Until I was talking to our HR and they're like, well, let me just refer you to a local agency and they can help you shop the marketplace for temporary coverage. And like, and I feel like insurance is kind of like owning a car, right? I think we all kind of know how cars operate. You put gas in it, runs a motor, the motor turns the wheels, you steer with your steering wheel. But how many people know what a serpentine belt is? Right. And so insurance is kind of like that in a way where I feel like we all kind of have this nebulous idea of what it is and how it works. But until something is broken, you realize how much you don't know. So it's great to be, again, that not subject matter expert, that thought leader in your community. So when, people need you, you're there. So that's all I have for you all today. If you'd like to learn more about social media marketing and how to best reach your clients, please join us May 19th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can go to events.jsaonline.com to find this webinar called Social Media Marketing Made Simple for Agents. Again, Lizzie on my team will be presenting. She'll walk you through different platforms, content strategy, how to get started with meta ads, and also something I didn't touch on, which is the metrics or the analytics part of that, how to measure your success on social media. So thank you for having me on today. And I'm always excited and happy to share about what I do and what's going on with the marketing department.
Nice, Shang. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. So we will share back my presentation.
Zonta, I'll probably tune into that because I have to admit, I don't know what a meta ad is. Those things, if you don't know, you don't know. But once you're with JSA, you can find out a lot of different information to help you grow your business and change with the times, right? We have to keep rolling with the changes.
I agree. I agree. I'm trying to share my screen, Kathy. Bear with me. Keep talking. I know
No,
you have so
I
much to
will.
share.
No, I do. I have some exciting things that just happened this week. Boy, do we miss Alex sometimes. He's our brains, and you know what? Zonta and I have to admit we are just not technically savvy, but we can talk. So let's talk about what happened this week. I was with an agent out in the field one of the things I love to do. And we are on the under 65 teams onto myself and Alex, and we are under the age of 65, but we are over the age of 50, at least two of, well, I'll talk about myself. I'm over the age of 50. And the reason I'm bringing this up, you wonder where I was with this agent. And it reminded me of my days in Medicare as a broker or community outreach rep. We were at a senior center, and a lot of senior centers that we're going to are 50 and up.
Wait a
Because
minute. I'm a senior?
now, we don't get senior discounts everywhere. I started researching online too because it's like 55, 56 and up that are actually giving discounts. But senior centers, not all, but you'll have to ask, are 50 and up. So guess what we did there?
What'd you do?
Well,
Did you
number one,
you danced, didn't you? Did you line
I'll be coming
so
back to do line dancing.
does
100
everyone know that that's a thing with you? Like, you can't play music around Kathy. It's a thing.
100% I will be back to do line dancing because I joined as a member.
It
At
looks
not
like your
one,
agent is line dancing right here. Is your agent line dancing? Is he line dancing?
no, he's not line dancing at that one, but we were cross-selling. Not only was he selling ACA plans for if you have an SEP for that, hospital indemnities,
Didn't you say you got quite a bit of leads, right?
at least 5, and that was our first time there. I'm not kidding. And these senior centers are active. They do everything and they are full. We're talking 40 to 100 people in attendance.
So I will say, I remember as we kind of go back in history. I actually used to work for State Farm. For those of you who haven't heard maybe some of my stories or attended some of the trainings, I would answer the phone because I was the health rep, and a lot of people were calling asking about probably around this age group that I'm in now, but
Mhm.
they were over 50, not quite 65, and they needed health coverage, and
Right,
they didn't have anything. Like,
right.
literally didn't have anything. So, great, great idea.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Nice. And you know what I would also say, Kathy, because I crown you, literally crown you queen bee of community, right? You have always been just an amazing community resource. I found you in the community. You were our number one community rep, pretty much for, the carrier that we worked for years. I cannot probably stress enough, and maybe that's why our Green 365 series really aligns in many ways, but just being out in the community, right? How it mirrors. And, I didn't bring this up when we were talking about the Medicarians, but I think what I'm really, really starting to see is kind of double. Ages that were just primarily ACA focused are now having clients that are aging into 65 Medicare eligibility, right? But then the other, where folks are like, okay, there's so many changes on the Medicare side. I really, really now, kind of like me, who wasn't interested in understanding ACA before last year, is wanting to spend that time there because not only are they wanting a larger portfolio, they have spouses that are not eligible for Medicare, right? And they're starting to see that they're turning so many clients away that they
Yeah.
wanna be that resource to everything, having that client for life. So, I commend you for being able to kinda tie those lines, especially being that community guru resource.
Well, thank you so much. And you know what? It's just the formula stays the same. That's the beauty of it. You don't
Yeah.
have to change what you were doing if you're already doing grassroots and getting out there. Community is unity, and that's where you can find your prospects and
Did
build
you just say
that.
community is unity? That is too now,
UNITY, unity, right?
so I hear you're a little famous. You were on a live radio recording. Can you tell me more about that?
I do. I was just promoting JSA and
How
learning
did it happen?
well, I'm learning the area, so I don't know if a lot of you know this. I haven't announced it. It's not a big deal, but I moved from Florida to Tennessee, and so I'm learning the lay of the land just like I would as a broker. I got to get out and figure out what people are like here and what they do. And how did I do that, or how am I doing that? I'm volunteering. I'm joining all of the chambers, and there's lots because there's lots of counties here in Tennessee, but it's really grassroots galore. I'm telling you, everybody, it's mom and pop, and that's
Yes.
just so good. That's where, when you're in the big city and oversaturated, you can get lost in the game. But here, I think it's just a lot of things happening to help the success of your business grow. And so I'm not looking necessarily as a broker, I'm looking for brokers, but I'm also looking for when I'm embedded in the community, I'm figuring out where the needs are. And so by volunteering and joining these things and being part of the chamber for the town that I moved to, we did a live spot, for new members. And so we were able to promote JSA, which you can probably do for yourself, at a chamber meeting. And so I know a lot of times we did those things as like corporate world, business to business. Well, you're still business to business, right? So you've got to get out there and make sure that your face and your name is known.
Yeah.
Um, Market yourself, right?
Yeah, I think for you, we kinda crossed, which is
Mhm.
weird, but you are the face, right, for North Florida, the Northeast kind of First Coast area. So this is probably kind of fun for you to go there and now become that face.
Yeah, it
And I
is.
think you talked a little bit about it in the Grow Your Business series. I know Shane brought it up with Henry, but you did a session with him. Was that pre-recorded? Can
That
folks
is
listen?
pre-recorded. That's gonna be part of our series that's going out with a gamut of our different leaders, covering a lot of different topics, and one thing we had talked about was grassroots, 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 and, while I was preparing for this, you and I have been together quite a long time, and one thing that came to mind when I was a broker, and it just made me kinda laugh to myself, was when as you remember when COVID hit and we all had to pivot, doing a lot of different things. I don't know if you remember, I made those masks that said Chat with Cat,
Yep.
and, they were pretty successful, but that was
Mm.
just I think you probably thought of that, and it was just genius, and I remember going back to one of the communities, and this is what made me laugh is because the lady was like, "Oh, I remember you, you were Chat with Cat," and I said, "Oh, yeah, I didn't even keep a mask for myself," and she was like, hold on, I'll go get one." This, bless her heart, brought me back the mask that
Didn't it have a cigarette hole in
it
it?
had a cigarette burn in it, and you know what? I still have it because it's my last one, and it just made me smile, it makes my heart happy that I made a mark on somebody, however it happened.
I love it. I love it. Well, so I think you guys talked about it on the last one, but I know you've had some one-on-ones. Did have you shared about your boot camps that are upcoming?
No, that was kind of it's just hot off the press. We have boot camps coming to our local headquarters, so if you're brand new, if you guys are seasoned, you don't need this, but there's gonna be a lot of different topics that we're going to cover to help you get ready for this upcoming season. So we're going to have one in Florida, California, Texas, and Wisconsin. And so
Nice.
look out for those to register. They're in person and they're live and lots of fun because I'm going to make Alex dress up. You don't want to miss that.
Well, we'll have to figure out a way to get those recorded. So folks that can attend, maybe we'll do live sessions, Zoom. So some more updates that we have, Kathy, if you want to share a couple of these, we can kind of tag team these.
Sure. The
I'm
reason
gonna,
that we have this podcast is so that we can cover some things that it's ACA, it is what it is what I say, and it's ever changing by the minute. We
yes,
just found out that Cigna is leaving market.
yeah, for 2027. So now I will say at first I got the phone call last week and I was a little, because we literally just saw them, Cigna ACA at Medicarians. So I don't think they knew. They are going to be very focused on their ancillary on dental and vision. So that's exciting. But yeah, for 2027. Now, what's interesting is, you know, their coverage was pretty low. And I think that had a lot of impact for why they're exiting for 2027. They only had 369,000 prospects, members. So that's not as big as what we know would be the case with the larger ones like Ambetter, UHC, Molina, Oscar. So, you know, not to fret, not to worry. This is just something that Cigna made choice in. Like I said, they're still staying around for the Medicare side, obviously, which is now, I think, Health Springs. And then they're definitely going to be focused on ancillary big time. So diversification is literally the thing, but it's just Cigna leaving. So just want to kind of
Yeah.
put that out there. The other update is Ambetter. As of 4/15, they actually ended their blackout period. I will tell you, it's a new release process. It's a 3-page document, and the prior upline has to sign it and then send it over to us, and then we can request your new contract. And then it also has to be signed by the current upline. So any questions about that, or, any of you guys who are wanting to move over, we're happy to help you for Ambetter. It is a new release and a new document for 2026, just FYI. And then Kathy, you want to update on Oscar?
Yeah, we're still in blackout for transfers. So if you're new, trying to get a new contract for Oscar, open gates. But if you're trying to transfer, they're not allowing that right now. So blackout still exists in the ACA world.
Hot off the press though, and we didn't really super touch on it. We'll have more. Kathy and Alex will definitely have more on the next Let's Talk, but they have a new platform that's going to be a competitor to Health Sherpa called Lucy.
Did you say that was one of the top vendors at Medicarians?
Yes, I couldn't even get
Oh,
to the booth. I couldn't even it was something they released and announced at Medicarians. Like I said, it's not just a Medicare event, but Lucy is a new platform. It is an Oscar platform, but it's going to be for all ACA, like Health Sherpa. You'll also be able to do ancillary enrollments on there, which is a little bit different from Health Sherpa. So looking to see if Health Sherpa is going to update for that. But you and we get a live demo next week, so I'm pretty excited about it.
yeah,
Um,
that's
but it's,
exciting.
but I mean, kind of what we already see on the Medicare side, right? With Medicare, you've got Sunfire, you've got My Health Plan. So kind of isn't weird that they're coming out with this, in addition to Health Sherpa. It was funny because I was meeting with the Health Sherpa rep. That was one of my first meetings the week before last in Vegas. And she was the one who told me, she was like, Oscar's coming out with a competitor. They're going to be our competition. I was like, how so? And she was like, Lucy. So I'm really excited to hear about it. And I think it's going to be nice. And I can tell you, they had all the buzz. Their line was the longest. I don't know if I'll go back, but on my first slide, I showed you their booth. The top one that you see there, and then kind of right there also on the right at the bottom, I couldn't get to the booth. That's how big of a deal it was. Yeah.
That is a big deal to come out with a new platform because I've heard from agents that have asked, if you're on the federal market, is there whatever pain points they've had or bad experience, which I'm sure is to had, not every platform is perfect. I don't know how well their customer service is or broker services to fix problems like that, but it's always nice to have an alternative.
Yeah, it keeps a even playing field is what I like to call it.
And it's an alternative where you don't have to join a different FMO to get that
Yeah,
platform,
yeah,
right? Stay
yeah,
where you're at. This is open to the public.
yeah, yeah. Pretty exciting. More to come. I know you guys will share on your next. Maybe we'll be able to have a live demo for agents as well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so some more updates from us. You guys already saw the live Green 365 is live. We're so excited. We do a lot of one-on-ones with agents. I know Kathy does a ton. I do a ton. Alex, and we're a small team. So we try to do as much as we can for all of you all, but we are national. So sometimes we travel and all that stuff. So are you excited about it being live on ARC?
So excited because then I can have, individuals go to it. Not only that, you can play it back whenever you want to. We're more than happy to walk you through whatever need be, but it's good to listen to it on your own time as well and take it as slow or fast as you need to, and then to be able to hear it again and again. I don't know about you guys, but as a broker, learning new products, it's not like I get it right away, right?
Yep.
And so having to learn different terms and sit on it for a minute and, chew on it for a minute, as they'd say, and then you'll be able to recite it back properly and be able to educate on it.
Yep. I know you guys have been really talking a lot about the short term. I have a slide coming up next. I think you saw it already, but the thing that I'm probably the most excited about is this little income earning down here. Have you all touched on that, talked about it?
We cover it on our regional Y short-term medicals, and I think we've covered it before. We're gonna definitely keep covering that. We want everyone to know, and it's just something recent, right? So short term, if you're just plugging in right now and you haven't heard the word short term yet, it's something that was viable before and got decreased to 3 months. And now in some states, not all, a lot of states, but not all, are offering 3 months to a year.
In some
Yeah.
cases, up to 3 years.
Right, and so you can do the underwriting up to 3 years, which is wonderful, and guys, you have to go on to look at so we have Pivot, Allstate, and United Healthcare, and you have to go out and quote these because you'll be surprised, It's
Actually, in some cases, less expensive.
for sure, and here in Tennessee, very economical, compared to the marketplace, and we don't wanna put one against the other, but you have both.
So, you know what I love about it from an agent perspective? Because you and I kind of have that agent mindset.
Right.
You don't have to do certifications.
So easy. Just like if you were doing a ancillary product, and what we mean by that is life insurance or hospital indemnities and things like that. You don't have to take a test. You don't have to get something added to your license. You don't have to do a certification. You fill out your name and your information.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you guys are gonna have some special guests coming up on the ACA.
We
Let's talk.
do. We do.
Yep.
We've got a rep from each of the carriers, and you don't want to miss this because, again, hearing more and more about it and then seeing what the commissions look like, it's well worth it.
I'll say just talking, and I know you're gonna go over maybe some pro tips and whatnot with agents and what you're hearing. I will say for those agents that have been around, been doing this for a long time, they actually are really focusing a little bit more or having it at least in their kind of pocket, short-term plans, right? And
For
having them as an
sure.
option because in some cases they're more affordable or it's just a resolution since you can have it longer than just 3 months.
What SCPs do we have? They are getting limited, and before it was a bit, let's be honest, loosey goosey with the SCP documentation.
Right.
Just beware that 2027, a lot of things are going to change, and it won't be as easy as it used to be. And that's to protect against fraud. So it's a
Right.
good thing. We
Right.
have to remember it's a good thing that's happening.
And I know you both do an amazing job with this, but I know you all will talk more about that when we get a little bit closer to OEP about just because we still don't know where everything finally stands, even with the new proposed regulations and all that. I know that you all will talk about that as we get closer.
Right. Quickly before we go further, we still have a little bit of time. Can you go back to the slide that has the per member per month? That was for the commissions, I believe, right here on what you can make from short-term medical sales.
Yes. Yes. That is the proposed earnings. And we actually got that from one of the carriers. They created this for us and what they're seeing agents are making. It's funny, before they even relaxed some of the regulations from the 3 months to the year or what have you, we have an agent that goes to our sales trips every year just based off short term. And he was doing this before they relaxed the regs. He doesn't sell anything but short term, and he makes it to every one of our sales strips. Like he was in Aruba,
Right.
he was in Costa Rica. I'm thinking he's going to be in Alaska. So there's money to be had. Somebody's making the money.
Sure. Not only making the money with our trips and going on that, and our trips are sponsored by carriers too, but like Pivot and United, once you go on their website and register, you'll start seeing those incentives that come through. And it's like, you could win trips by selling these. It gives you a little bit more incentive for being able to. Plus the commission's great. It's nothing
Commission's
to blink
amazing.
at, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's nice. Very nice.
Short-term medical is available in most states, but not California, unfortunately. Yet.
Yet. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say not currently, but that doesn't mean it won't change.
Right. Yeah. So thanks for going back to that.
Sure. So Kathy, I think this is where you talk about sales tips. What are you hearing from agents? Like what are agents doing? What are some pro tips that you're hearing? you yourself, I know a lot of times think like an agent still, even though, we're here, supporting agents and agencies. What are some of the stuff you're hearing?
I just keep going back to the basics of what I know. And like you said, who the core of I am as a broker and as a person, and that's community. Getting out and knowing your neighbors and meeting, using your face opposed to a lot of agents will start with us and say, "Do you have a tablecloth for JSA?" Or, "Can I get this imprinted?" And I said, honestly, I would love to promote JSA 100%, but it means nothing to the public. So you go by your first name, picture, or tagline, whatever that might be, to make sure that you're rememberable. What is it they're gonna, chat? It's rhyming, chat with cat. And I just had a picture of myself on a banner. I know it seems kind of conceited or whatever, but it's not. It's not prideful in any way. It's the marketing because I want people to recognize me and just know my first name. That's all they need to know.
Yeah, I will say when we used to, well, I was with a carrier, that was one of the things I promoted 100%. I don't like seeing myself on pictures or
Oh, not at all.
but what I will share is agents that do that, they really do. And I actually had some tell me stories about how when they did that, people would come up to them. Same thing. I don't know how many times I've seen like maybe somebody who's a news broadcaster or somebody that I've seen on TV and I see them in public and I'm like, oh, I know them. But then I'm like, oh, but they don't know me. But that doesn't
Right,
matter. The point is your face becomes familiar and people buy from people they know, people they
right.
trust, people they like. And so I think that branding perspective, right? Just putting your face out there all the time is really important. Kathy, I know one of the top agents that we used to have in Jacksonville, she had her face everywhere. Kathy loved it. Her face was on
She
everything.
had it on her shirt, a
Her
QR
car,
code everywhere, like, you could not miss contacting her.
I think it was on her car, like really large mouse pads, cups.
See?
It
She
was really big.
understood, right. She understood the lesson
She
and
she
applied
understood the
it.
assignment. She got it. And I'll say though, she had how many clients did she have that were ACA?
She had 800 or so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she opened
branded
our
her.
eyes up to the world of ACA a lot, and,
And she'd only been doing it like not even a year.
brand new,
Yeah.
brand new.
Yeah. Yeah, so branding's really important. And, I will say that as well. We've had the opportunity to really kind of interview some top agents. We have one, I don't, he goes all over DC, Atlanta, Nashville. I think he's going to Texas and he's, always in some coffee shop somewhere. He's constantly in the field
But
and
he's part of those communities, isn't he?
he is. He is. And what's probably the most telling story about him is he literally was a biochemist by day and was doing this on the side and
Wow.
found such success from this that he quit his day job. And now this is all he does.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
You'd be surprised, I have a handful of pharmacists and doctors that have come to us in the last couple of years.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I found it well, and the truth of it is you're really helping people, right? The pool of people that really need this is larger than even the Medicare side. And so it's nice that you can actually educate them. I was just talking to some younger gentleman that coach over at my son's high school. And he's like, "What is it that you do?" And I told him, he's like, "Oh, we need insurance."
Yeah, everybody needs insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time, so quickly let's wrap this up and land this plane. What's coming up?
So, coming up, ICRA, it's going to be something that we are hopefully going to be offering really, really soon. We're super excited about it. And then, really hot off the press, can't tell anybody, but we're looking into private plans. They're becoming kind of popular.
They're very popular. Everybody, every ad I see, agents are calling asking for these, and we just need to make sure that we're compliantly, legally able to broker this. But what is ICRA? I mean, you can say that word, and when I have to talk about it, I have to spell it because it doesn't look like ICRA, right? But what is it, real quick?
So, it is, if you want to ask me what that acronym actually stood for.
No, just give me the layman terms. Street talk is what we do here.
So it's actually an option for smaller businesses, right? They can. I think if you've attended kind of any of our sessions, the 101s, over 50% of group employers actually don't offer health coverage nowadays. And so it's an alternative, right? It's an alternative where they're still able to get basically the same type of plans that they get for ACA, but the business owner is given an actual allowance towards it. So they're able to offer it because they're giving an allowance. It's more affordable. And it's becoming kind of a new thing because I can tell you, as someone who started out on the small group side, small group insurance has gotten so expensive, group insurance altogether. And so this is an alternative to them. And then what's really nice is with ICRA, it actually allows each of their employees to have different coverage, right? They're getting an allowance. So one could have one carrier, one could have another carrier, but way more to come. Once we roll it out, we'll have so many trainings around it. But we are getting a lot of inquiries from our own like key advisory partners and larger agencies that are already doing it or wanting to be something we offer.
So in a nutshell, it's something that you can come into businesses and be the agent of record for the entire employees to be a alternative to group insurance that they're using.
Yep.
Wow.
Like,
That's some big numbers. That's why people do group, right?
yep. Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, we've got a lot of things happening. We are under 65, you 65, so we can help you get clients for life. If you any questions, please put them in the chat. We'll stay on for a few seconds more. I think we've been pretty quiet today. Hopefully they
Your folks
enjoy.
are right. I've attended some of these. They're normally a little more chatty. So hopefully we didn't put anybody to sleep. I
No,
know
we don't have any major hot topics yet, which is a blessing because they're going to come. I promise you. ACA, and you know how they are. They're late Larrys. They come at the very end, and we're going to try to get that news to you right away. But stay tuned for our next episode of Let's Talk ACA. I think
when
we're
is
gonna,
that, Kathy?
well, that's going to be on May. Oh, sorry, we're in May already. It's going to be June 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Some little surprises that might be coming. I got to see when our year anniversary is. Alex is actually on tour with his band right now, and we promise a live performance. Maybe not of his genre of music, but just a little jingle for ACA. So, you know, guys, we have lives outside of this, and we what we do is fun. And if we're not doing it and having fun, we don't want to do it. But that's what ACA is. So let's talk about it and keep tuned in. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me, Kathy.
Welcome. Bye now.
Bye.